Do you believe the United States deserves the retribution for the lifestyle that we live? Do you think the manifestation of what's going on is a retribution because of...
It's not about lifestyle.
We're not that positive. It's not about lifestyle.
It is not about lifestyle. It is, you did this to me, so we'll do this to you. Has anybody ever punched you in the nose? Did you feel an impulse to punch back? It is...
Well, for no good reason. You know, it seems like the United States is just here doing commerce, and then boom, you know, we're being punched.
Well, it's what we were talking to our friend earlier about, and it was one of the reasons that we thought it was a good sequence here, is that when you get into the heart of something, there are all kinds of things that are happening vibrationally, or in other words, law of attraction is always sorting everything out. This may be an easy way to hear this. Years ago, Jerry was living in California, and the woman across the street was kidnapped one day, and they took her car and tied her up and left her in the bushes and stole things from her home in a very beautiful neighborhood. And so now the police are aware of it. And so as time passed, Jerry decided that he was going to sort of keep an eye out. And one day he saw some very scruffy looking people who obviously did not belong in the neighborhood there, and he decided that he was going to just keep an eye on them. And so he staked them out. He kept an eye on where they were. And one day he was sitting in his car under a tree, watching them off in the distance, and one of them came around from behind and came into his window and said, "Will you stop following us?" And Jerry said, "Who are you guys?" And they said, "We are undercover policemen." And Jerry said, "I thought you were the bad guys." And we said years later, as he is recounting the story to us, same vibration. Now, what do we mean by that? Do we mean that these undercover policemen were hitting little old women over the head and tying them up and throwing them in the bushes? No. We mean they were focused upon that activity, and therefore that vibration was alive within them. And so what we're getting at here, you cannot police the world without pushing against, and you cannot push against without disconnecting from your source. In other words, you have to understand law of attraction. Most of the world is wanting to say, well, who is the greater perpetrator of the greater crime? And we say, oh, you spend centuries trying to sort that one out. Who is the bad one now? Who is the bad one now? Who is the worst of these bad ones? Or who is the best of these good ones? And we say, you're not ever going to be able to sort that out. The only thing you're ever going to know is, as an individual, are you allowing the goodness that is source to be present within you with this thought, word, or deed right now? And you cannot push against another and allow that energy to flow.
Do you believe Jesus Christ said, do you believe he was who he said he was?
Yes, but who he said he was and who you all say he is not the same thing. In other words, he said
a lot of things.
But the thing that he said that you all seem to forget that he never said, I am the only one.
That's right.
He never said, I am God.
That's right.
He never said, it must come through me and through no other.
No, he pushed a father, someone greater, you know.
Good. There is one.
Yes.
There is that which comes before.
But I think his purpose, almost like a bin Laden, was to push the envelope. He came down and fulfilled or went through a lot of the Hebrew scripture and, in a way, picked out doctrines and ceremonies and fulfilled a lot of those things that said that needed to be fulfilled. I mean, he said, I am the fulfillment. And like bin Laden, I wonder in a way if he's trying to push the envelope.
And did you hear anything? Don't take some big horrific event and then try to match it with something that anyone said. In other words, have you heard us saying that you are the manifestation, that you are the fulfillment? In other words, could he not have been talking about law of attraction? Could he not have been talking about physical life? Could he not have been talking about the relationship of the physical and the non-physical?
But he combined that into a reality, which the world, I mean, we say it's 2001, and why do we say that? Because Jesus Christ died on the cross that day. Almost like the Trade Center, that he culminated a lot of stuff. And
good.
And now we're here.
We agree with you. Let's take a segment of refreshment and begin there when we come back. Good time for it. And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. You're ready to continue?
Thank you.
Bring us back round to where we are.
Ooh, I was at the cross. I believe that everyone can be as good as Jesus, like he said. He said, be better than me. But the point in time that he was at to fulfill those certain things is of significance to me. I mean, I might be a better person than Jesus was, but I can never do the things that he was sent to do. And at that point of stage in time.
We don't agree with that, and let us tell you why. You are an extension of source energy, not different from the one that you call Jesus. You can allow a fullness of that to flow through you, of source energy to flow through you or not, and he was not different from that. Oh, we could talk the rest of the day just about the events that led up to his death. We want to give you a basis of understanding that we think will soothe you a little bit. Did man get everything done that he came forth to do in the body of the one known as Jesus? Of course not. Do individuals come forth from non-physical perspective with powerful desire and intent, wanting to find from what they are living stronger than ever desire that summons energy forth? Of course. Did the one known as Jesus understand, even before he came forth into his physical body, that what he was summoning forth, most of the world was not yet ready to hear? Of course. Do you understand that as you come forth into your physical body? Of course. Do any of you ever come forth intending that you will be the one final link or the one final bridge that will make everybody once and for all understand? Of course not. In other words, these are things that physical beings decide after the fact. They are things that physical beings even sometimes think about while things are unfolding. But we promise you, you do not need a savior. You do not need an eruption. You do not need things to go terribly wrong in order for you to determine what would make things right. All of this comes back around to this powerful question that we chewed on together just a little bit ago as we were talking about the difference between a strong desire that is far from where my belief is, or a weaker desire that's closer to where my belief is. You all continue to come forth to continue to mix things up, knowing that out of that mix will come eternal desires that will always be satisfied. And it is our promise to you, no one is set forth to be martyr. No one is set forth to do things for others. In other words, all of you come forth with the same relationship to the source energy. All of you come forth with the same guidance system that lets you know your relationship to the source energy. So when you meet one like Jesus, or you hear of one like Jesus, and there are so many others, and he would be the first to tell you that, who find a stronger purpose or mission from what they're living, that is a remarkable and wonderful thing. And do they find themselves sometimes in the midst of that mission, pushing against what is not wanted and therefore disconnect from source energy? Absolutely, that is true. Do they reemerge back into source energy at the time of their withdrawal from physical? Absolutely. And do they continue to express to the physical even after they have made their transition back into the non-physical? Absolutely. What we can feel sort of coming here from you, and not just from you, you are sort of a spokesman from so many that are feeling. These are emotional times when big things happen. It stirs big questions and it stirs big emotions. And the question that we can feel radiating from you is, in all that mass consciousness is living, has it culminated in this significant event that will be life-changing in nature, just as the birth of Jesus was life-changing in nature? And we have to say to you, now like then like now, it was not all that life-changing then. Every now and again, something will happen and someone will say, well, I will be the one that will carry the message. Here's a way to hear it. Someone will be a healer, and there will be someone who is sick, and the healer will say, I want to summon my healing powers so that I can assist this one in becoming well. And we say, the one who is sick does not need your healing powers, because their sickness is causing their asking, and source energy is answering their asking. You could help in the soothing. You might help in them lowering their resistance. And that's where teachers like Jesus and Buddha and Gandhi, in other words, there are endless that we could name and endless that you've never heard the names of. They help in the helping you to finally be in a place where you allow the well-being that the consequences of your life have helped you to discover. What non-physical is for us is the feeling of never-ending ecstasy. It is the knowledge that there is nothing ended. But we have to say to you, the satisfaction that is the sweetest for us is the satisfaction that we feel as we pour through you. Because after all, you are on the leading edge of thought. Physical beings think, well, if I withdraw from this wretched place where things go wrong and bad things happen, then I'll be in heaven. And we say, everybody that's in heaven that we know is focused through you out here on this leading edge of thought. We're all where the action is. And out here on the leading edge of thought is where it's all happening, you see. The difference between you as you're focused out here on the leading edge of thought and we, as we focus through you, is that we know that everything's all right. We know that well-being abounds, and we don't let something that we see upset us and disconnect us from the source that we are about.
Why isn't that known more then? I mean,
well,
it doesn't seem like that
it's
is
known,
out there.
It's known when you are born. Your beasts know it. Your babies know it. Here's how it is lost or forgotten by you. You're born with this guidance system, and it seems so simple. Good feels good, bad feels bad. In other words, you knew that when you came forth. And so as you play with one another and you say, I want to feel good, and when I look at these things that make me feel good, I feel good. But when I look at those things that don't make me feel good, I feel bad. Where it starts going wrong is in the belief that I now have to get rid of those things that don't feel good. Because there's no exclusion in this universe that's based on attraction. It's an inclusion-based universe. So when I say, no, we've got to get rid of that, what I'm actually saying is, come to me this thing I do not want. So now the very thing that I'm abhorring or trying to get rid of is a stronger pulsing part of my vibration, which means I'm getting more of it. Here's what you're reaching for, and maybe you can receive it here, because we're going to give it to you in a softer, easier way than you've ever heard it before. When someone says to you, there's a boogeyman out there. Esther heard parents in a campground telling their children this the other day. There's a boogeyman out there. Better not go over there. And this child, in love with life, in love with source, in love with self, pure positive energy flowing through him, because his parents wanted to control him and created a fictitious boogeyman which he could not personally vibe out. He didn't sense the boogeyman. He didn't sense that there was any danger. His guidance was saying, go, romp, play. His parents said, there's danger out there. We're smart. You're not. We know it's there. You don't. Listen to us. And in that moment and moments like that, that little child can't make sense of what he's thinking and feeling. He can't make sense of his surroundings. He must respond to something unseen. And he loses his guidance and begins trusting it from another. Then the other later on says, well, these are the rules that keep you in our club, and these, if you break these rules, you're out of the club. And you say, I want in the club. Seems to be to my advantage. So you keep all the rules. Then you see others breaking the rules, but they seem to still be thriving. And you say, wait a minute. I'm depriving myself of all of these things that I really want that you say are bad. And they are participating in all of them, and they're thriving, and I'm not. And then they give you the big clincher, which is just like the one we told you before about the boogeyman that you couldn't feel. They say, oh, no, 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 no. You cannot judge it from what you're living here and now. After you die, the true judgment will come forth. And if you suffer, if you deprive, if you work to serve not you, after you die, the good times will roll. And we say, when did good feel good and bad feel bad? Stop serving you? Oh, incrementally along the way. You buy it one little piece at a time. They say, anthrax is out there. It's not the boogeyman, it's anthrax. And so, never mind your own guidance system that would never walk you right into the middle of anything. Never mind that. Start opening your mail with rubber gloves, or get people you don't care about to open your mail. And anything that resembles anything like that, avoid it, which means, oh, how many substances will you now feel fearful of? And so what we're getting at here is it didn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen to everyone in the same way, but it happens in lots of different ways, and what's at the root of it every single time is someone, often very well-meaning, who wants the best for you, who doesn't believe that you have any way in the world of finding your way to the best stuff, who believes they've gone through all of the hard knocks, who believes that they've found the way, will work systematically to erode your sense of your own guidance system. And as soon as your guidance system is outside of you, in other words, as soon as you're no longer trusting the visceral feeling of your own emotion, now it's just a battle of which group's the loudest, who's got the most power.